Hey guys, Tally006 back again with some more Battlefield 5 Firestorm content. Today we're going to start a gun guide series in which I'll look at all the weapons available in Firestorm. We will take a look at assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs and MMGs, as well as the sniper rifles. I will not take the time to go over shotguns and pistols as they're weapons that I don't necessarily think need an in-depth look. It is noteworthy that not all weapons available in Battlefield 5 multiplayer are available in Firestorm, so I will only be going over the weapons available in Firestorm. How this is going to work is we're going to take a look at the stats of each individual weapon, give the ratings 1 out of 10, talk about fire rate, reload speed, and even give a quick demonstration of each weapon in the firing range. Unfortunately, I will not be able to replicate the different rarities of the weapons. It's just not possible in the firing range. So what we'll do is we'll talk about what attachments come on the rare and epic versions of the weapons and how those attachments will affect the weapons' performances. But today we're starting with just the assault rifles, so let's get right into it. So starting off, the assault rifle class, we have the Gewehr 43 semi-automatic rifle. It has a damage profile of 4, accuracy 6, hipfire spread 2, and control 2.5. We have a fire rate of 300 rounds per minute. Remember, it's a semi-automatic rifle, so pretty much as fast as you can pull that trigger, it'll shoot. It's only got the one fire mode, which is a single shot, and base magazine of 10 rounds. I find this weapon all over the map. It's fairly common. There's not 2 rounds that go by that I haven't run into this weapon. It does have the best damage and accuracy ratio out of all the assault rifles, and I believe it does the most damage out of all the assault rifles. It's a fairly good weapon. I do like using it, but I do feel hindered by the semi-automatic nature of it. So let's take a look at the Gewehr 43 in action. It's got a decent iron sight. We're going to take a look at the recoil. You can see the accuracy. It's just a straight up kick. There's not a lot of right to left action in it. You can control it pretty well if you don't try to spam shoot too hard. Let's go over and look at a ranged target. Battlefield has this cool bullet drop tracer, so you can really see how it flows. We'll take a little shot out into the distance and see how much bullet drop there actually is. So unlike a game like Black Ops Blackout, the bullet drop isn't as noticeable in Battlefield, I feel. Like there we only had about 6 inches of drop from 100 meters out. Here we're going to look at the reload speed of the Gewehr 43. A full magazine reload will take roughly 4 seconds. Let's take a look at the rare variant of the Gewehr 43. As you can see in the upper right hand corner, we got quick aim, which will allow you to aim down your sights 33% faster. Custom stock, which will increase your accuracy while aimed down sights and moving, so it'll help with that strafing fire. And the aperture sight, which you can see here, it's kind of like a 2x scope. You get a little bit of zoom, but it is kind of hard to look through. I prefer iron sights on this weapon. Moving on to the epic variant of the Gewehr 43. We have the machined bolt, which will increase your rate of fire. So if you do have a fast trigger finger, you will be able to get some more shots off. The recoil buffer will help with that increased fire rate as it reduces the upward kick that the gun gives off. And it also comes with the mid-range scope, which you can see here. It's a little bit nicer to look through than the aperture sight. Remember that epic variants of each weapon will come with all the rare attachments as well. Moving on to the next weapon in the assault rifle class, we have the M1A1 carbine, another semi-automatic rifle. We have a damage profile of 3, accuracy 6, hipfire 2, recoil control 3. We have an increased rate of fire as compared to the Gewehr 43 at 450 rounds per minute. We only have the one fire mode, and it comes with a magazine of 16 rounds. Again, this is a fairly common assault rifle to find throughout the map. I tend to use it a little bit more than the Gewehr 43. Although it has a weaker damage profile, it does have an increased recoil control, and the accuracy is fairly the same. I tend to like using this weapon more. The iron sights are really nice to look through, and I feel like it's just a better overall weapon, even with that diminished damage profile. Let's take a look at the iron sights. A little bit nicer. Not as much as an upward kick as compared to the Gewehr 43, as you saw. Decent fire rate. I really like this gun. Can't say it enough. Really controlled weapon. Let's take a look at it at range with the bullet drop-off. Iron sights aren't the best at, anything further than 25 meters, but you can get the job done. Very similar bullet drop-off to the Gewehr 43, though. We're going to be looking at about maybe a little bit more, getting past that 50-meter range. Probably a foot to a foot and a half drop at 100 meters, as compared to the Gewehr 43. It was only about 6 inches. Take a look at the reload speed of the carbine. A full magazine reload will only take you 3 seconds. Let's take a look at the rare variant of the M1A1 carbine. Again, we have quick aim, which allows you to aim down your sights 33% faster. Swings and swivels, which increases weapon switching by 15% and decreases the amount of time it takes to fire that weapon again. It also comes with the reflex sight, as you can see here. This is probably my favorite sight in the game. It's just nice to look at. There's no zoom, but you do get that nice crosshair. A little bit nicer than the iron sights. Let's take a look at the epic variant of the M1A1 carbine. Here we're getting extended mags, which is pretty self-explanatory. Enhanced grips, which will decrease hipfire spread by 25% and increase weapon range by 33%. And again, we're getting that reflex sight. I can't say enough how much I love this reflex sight. Let's see it in action with some skeet shooting. Moving on, we're getting into the full automatic assault rifles. We have the STG-44, or Stieg for short. We have a damage profile of 2.5, accuracy of about 5.5, hipfire spread 2.5, and 2.5 for control. We have an increased rate of fire from the semi-autos at 600 rounds per minute. We can switch the fire modes to be a single shot or full auto, and it comes with a magazine of 31. This is by far my favorite automatic assault rifle. I've used it in any World War II game I've ever played, and the iron sights are just really nice to look through. If I see this weapon on the map, on the ground, I'm switching it out. I would even drop a rare semi-auto rifle for a common Stieg 44. That's how much I love this weapon. Let's take a look at it in action. So remember, it is a full auto, so the recoil is going to be a little intense. There's quite the quick right. Let's see if we can control it. It's not that bad. If you're ever anywhere further, 25 yards and out, you're not going to be full auto shooting this weapon anyways. You're going to be doing a bit of a pump fire. Let's take a look at the bullet drop on the Stieg 44. I believe I aimed a little bit high on that second shot, so this might be a little deceiving, but it does have a very similar bullet drop to the Gewehr 43, whereas the carbine dropped off quite a bit after 50 meters. Let's take a look at the reload speed of the Stieg 44. A full magazine reload will only take you 3 seconds, which matches the carbine reload speed. Let's take a look at the rare variant of the Stieg 44. We have recoil buffer, which will reduce that vertical recoil, that upwards kick. You might still get the little bit of the right hand kick. Quick aim, which will allow you to aim down sights even faster by 33%. And again, just like the M1A1 carbine, we get that awesome reflex sight to look through. So as you can see here, I'm doing more of a burst fire at distance. It's a little bit more accurate than if you were to try to spam fire a full auto round out of the Stieg 44. Let's see a little bit of the burst fire with the bullet drop off. Remember, I can't replicate the recoil buffer and quick aim in the shooting range, so just imagine that even more accurate and more controlled. Moving on, let's look at the epic variant of the Stieg 44. We're getting a ported barrel, which reduces horizontal recoil, so combined with that recoil buffer, this weapon is going to be very, very accurate. We're also getting a lightened stock, which will increase our movement speed by 60% while aimed down sights, which is a gigantic increase in speed. It'll make that strafe firefighting really nice and really controlled. We're also getting the mid-range scope, which is a little overkill for a fully automatic weapon, but it is a little bit nicer than iron sights. Rounding off the assault rifle class, we have the Sturmgewehr 1.5. It has a similar damage profile to the Stieg 44 at 2.5, a decrease in accuracy at about 4, hip fire spread 2.5, and recoil control is 2. It has an increased rate of fire at 670 rounds per minute. We can switch the fire mode to be a single shot if we'd like, and it comes with a magazine of 31. In my personal opinion, this is the worst assault rifle in the game. I tend to refuse to pick it up. With the low damage profile and the decrease in accuracy, I do not like using this weapon. If it's there on a hot drop and I need something in my hands, I will pick it up, but I'm definitely looking to replace it as soon as possible. Again, in my personal opinion, this gun is pretty much useless in this game, but nonetheless, let's take a look at it in action. So a pretty hard kick up, not a lot of right to left, but a really insane kick up for the recoil. It's a little bit harder to control as compared to the Stieg 44. Trying to control the recoil on this gun is just a futile effort for me. I'm having a really tough time with it, but I don't plan to be using this gun very often anyways. Let's take a look at the bullet drop-off. Bullet drop-off very similar to the Gewehr 43 and the Stieg 44. A little less drop-off than the carbine, which is a little bit of a bonus. Let's take a look at the reload speed of the Sturmgewehr 1.5. You're going to get a full magazine reload at 3 seconds, which matches the Stieg 44 and the carbine. Looking at the rare variant of the Sturmgewehr, we have recoil buffer, which will help with that vertical kick. We have quick reload, which will decrease that already fast reload time down by 15%. And again, we get a reflex sight. This reflex sight doesn't look as good as the one that comes on the Stieg and the M1A1 carbine, but it is still an improvement from the iron sights that do come on the Sturmgewehr. Again, remember, I cannot replicate the recoil buffer and the quick reload in the shooting range. Moving on to the epic variant of the Sturmgewehr, we're going to get the custom stock, which will increase our accuracy while aimed down sights and moving. The ported barrel, which will help out with that horizontal recoil. And again, we're getting the reflex sight. So that about does it for the assault rifles that you can get in Firestorm. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and look forward to SMGs next week. Talk to you later, guys. Peace.